What's up everybody, this is Danny and this is the Samsung Galaxy S5. This is the new flagship for Samsung in 2014 and is the successor to the very popular Galaxy S4 of last year. So will this be the best-selling phone of this year? Let's find out in this walkthrough and first impressions of the brand new Samsung Galaxy S5. So there it is folks, the Galaxy S5 in its glory, and this is the white model. It does come in black as well and some other colors for the back. Now there is that perforated back that people did not like. I have not seen the gold version yet, and I know there was a lot of band-aid jokes here and there, but actually this is not as bad as you would think it is. It actually feels decent in the hand too. It's not as ugly as you would think it is. So let's do a quick hardware tour of the Galaxy S5. On the front, there is the earpiece, the appropriate sensors, and the 2-megapixel front-facing camera. And on the back, you have the brand new 16-megapixel ISOCELL camera, along with the LED flash and the heart rate monitor. It's actually pretty easy to use. You just open up S Health and then you put your finger over that sensor and you'll see a little red light there, and then you just wait a couple of seconds and it will read your heart rate. Am I going to use this? Probably not, but I guess it's a cool inclusion, but it's another thing you can show off to your friends when you buy your new S5. On the right side, you will see a power button there and a little notch for you to be able to pull that back cover off, and I'll show you that later on. Up top, you have the 3.5mm headphone jack, noise canceling mic, and you also have the IR blaster. And on the bottom, you have a covered USB 3 port, and then on the side, you will see this fake silvery, almost metally looking thing, but you know it's plastic. And there is another look at the heart rate sensor. And there is another look at this perforated back. Now it feels pretty good in the hand, and actually it's not as bad as I thought, and actually the build quality feels pretty solid as well. Now go ahead and pull off the back cover and it exposes the micro SIM card slot and the micro SD card slot and the removable 2800 milliamp battery, which is a step up from the Galaxy S4. And there is also the single speaker on the back. So I'm actually proud of Samsung for still having a removable battery, and that is going to make a lot of people happy. So there is the home button there, and that also has the fingerprint scanner, and the 2 capacitive buttons flank it just like the Galaxy S4. Much like the iPhone 5S, the new Samsung Galaxy S5 has a fingerprint scanner, but it works a little bit differently than it does on the iPhone. What you do is you take your finger and then you swipe down over the home button instead of leaving your finger on the home button itself. So I'll let you know how accurate this is or how good this fingerprint scanner is in the full review. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S5 and these ridiculous amount of phones to give you a good size comparison. Here is the GS5 next to the very popular iPhone 5S, and the iPhone 5S has a 4-inch display where the new Samsung Galaxy S5 has a 5.1-inch display. So of course the iPhone's going to look like a toy compared to this, but they both have the fingerprint scanner. So let me know if you want to see a full comparison between these two devices. Here is a better size comparison with the Nexus 5. The Nexus 5 has a 5-inch display, and they're very similar in size here, so that's a pretty good indication of what the GS5 size is like in the hand. And then here is the Xperia Z1, and the Xperia Z1 is very wide and also very thick, so you can see in every way that the GS5 is thinner, smaller, and it still gives you a little bit bigger screen as well. So you can tell that the GS5 is very compact. So let's go ahead and boot this thing up, and then we're going to take you through a little bit of a tour of the new TouchWiz on the new GS5. Turning it on, you get punched right in the face with this 5.1-inch 1080p display, which is a Super AMOLED display. And let me tell you, this is very impressive on the display. This is probably the best Samsung display that I've seen. It's very vibrant, it's punchy, it's actually pretty stunning when you first see it because the colors are so sharp and the resolution's nice too, and it just, I don't know, I've been using the M8 for a while and it really has a vibrancy that you just have to see. So it's a very nice display. If you've seen the HTC One M8, then you know that it's got a very nice screen, and this can definitely go toe-to-toe with it, so you know, take that as you will. Now, TouchWiz looks pretty much the same on this device. The only thing you're going to notice is that that button on the left now, the capacitive button, is a multitasking button, just like their Tab Pro lines, instead of a menu button, and you still have that back button as well. It's just a minor change, but I actually prefer the multitasking button rather than the menu button. So pulling down the notification shade here, you can see that it's a little bit different, and this is that TouchWiz that kind of got leaked a little bit, and we thought that we're going to get something dramatic, but really just the icons and the settings are a little different. It's a little bit iOS-y here, but you can change it right back to list view, and you can go to tab view, so you can get a little bit more traditional TouchWiz experience. But I mean, I actually don't mind those circle icons. They make it look just a little bit different, and it kind of goes with the theme of a new Galaxy S5. I really wish we would have got that overhauled TouchWiz that we saw leaked, but hopefully they will update the software throughout the year. Now, it does come with Android 4.4.2 out of the box, so thank you Samsung for putting out the latest version of Android. But the one thing that you might not like is this big flap that is covering the USB 3 port on the bottom of the GS5. And the reason why you have that is because this is IP67 certified, which is water resistant and dust resistant. So not waterproof though, that's totally different. I'm curious to see if it's going to get on my nerves when I charge the phone, because you're going to have to keep opening that flap. As you can see, the UI is very fluid, and that's because it's being powered by the Snapdragon 801 processor clocked at 2.5 GHz with 2 GB of RAM and the Adreno 330 GPU. If you look closely, you can see that TouchWiz has been updated just a little bit. It's mostly just animations and stuff like that, widgets, just the way that the system looks a little bit, but it's still pretty familiar when it comes to TouchWiz. It's still pretty heavily skinned, so I will let you know in the full review what I think about the new TouchWiz. Let's move on to something a little bit more exciting, which is the brand new 16 megapixel ISOCELL camera. And I was very excited to test this, but the first thing you're going to notice is how fast the focus is. The autofocus is extremely fast, and you can focus with a tap of the finger just like you do traditionally. Now what's awesome is if you hold your finger there on the focus point, it will lock focus, so that's really nice. So that's good for people that want to take quick pictures and also video recording. That's a huge deal, so you don't see all these ridiculous autofocusing points going off in the video. Now the interface actually looks pretty similar. As you can see, dual camera still there, beauty face, and you can download more stuff from the Samsung store. The camera app itself gets a little bit of a facelift, and you can see there's still a lot of controls here: HDR, effects, metering modes, face detection, all that good stuff. But the number one important thing for me is the Ultra HD 4K video recording that is now available on the GS5. And here is a 4K sample that I took, so I'm going to upload this separately so you can see the resolution and quality of this video, and you know I'm probably going to shoot a full review with the Galaxy S5, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Selective focus is a new part of the camera app, and you have to select it first before you take the shot, and this is pretty much what Nokia Refocus does. See how it takes multiple shots and it has to sit there and process, and when you do that, then you can go into selective focus and change the focusing after the fact. On first impressions, it actually works pretty well. As you can see, far focus, look at how the background now is focused. Pan focus makes everything in focus. And then when you hit the near focus, you can see that the M8 is in pure focus, and then it gives it that bokeh effect in the back, creating that shallow depth of field. Playing around with this a little bit, it is not completely perfect. It's kind of like the M8. See where the near focus is? There's a glare on that screen. So when you actually put it on a far focus, look at how bad the iPhone looks. So it's a little bit messed up on the software. So I guess it depends on what shot you take. But here are some samples taken with the Galaxy S5, and so far the shots look pretty good. The shots are a little bit overexposed, but they're extremely detailed. So when I have more time with this camera, I will definitely give you more camera shots and videos in the full review. Okay, so what do you guys think about the Samsung Galaxy S5? Is this the phone that you've been waiting for, maybe for a 2-year contract or to buy it unlocked? Is this what you've been waiting for? Or are you going to go for something like the HTC One M8 or the Sony Xperia Z2? Now, I think that the Galaxy S5 is more of an incremental update again, where you're getting a little bit better screen, you're going to get a little bit better camera, a little bit bump up in the battery. It's definitely an incremental update. So I will let you know what I think about this device when I get more hands-on with it and be able to use it for a couple weeks. So let me know what you want to see in the full review, and hit me up on Twitter at SuperScientific, and I will definitely try to put that in the full review. And make sure you check out my full HTC One M8 versus Samsung Galaxy S5 video. I will link that in the description section below. So if you enjoyed this content, make sure you give me a thumbs up, for that helps the channel a ton. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss any more content like this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.